So in today's discussion, let's see some of the strategies that can be used by the government. So leaders of the first world countries have advisors who are expert in their field. And if you look at the map of the globe at the moment, countries are progressively getting drier and the world population is increasing. The drawings of lions, buffaloes, and elephants, among other animals, on the walls of ancient Egypt during the reign of the pharaohs suggests Sahara Desert was actually a savanna grassland over 3,000 years ago. So if you look at the Google map right now, three-quarter of Kenya is either semi-arid or arid region, and population is depicted to increase to from 56 million to around 96 million people by 2050. The available land is being subdivided into plots, thus the capacity to produce and feed the swelling population is heading to the wrong direction. So if the Kenyan government does not take urgent measures to stop the encroachment of forest and public land and prohibit land subdivision, there will be hunger and suffering in our lifetime. Kenya is already at the critical moment where urgent measures are required to stop that land subdivision and sale of plots, since the practice is leading Kenya to a deep pit where it will never dig itself out. The United States, for instance, know that Morocco has the highest phosphate deposits in the world. In the year 2050, the world population will hit 10 billion people and they will need food. So phosphate compounds are used in manufacture of fertilizers for farming. So in order to feed the swelling population, the far-sighted leaders of the United States have already strategized on how to secure the supply of phosphate compounds from Morocco. What are the Kenyan leaders doing to solve the looming danger of starvation? They're just looming public funds and are playing dirty politics. So first world governments seek control of other countries using various means, and having control means the people of the first world countries can maintain a high standard of living. It makes sense that countries have an option of either producing more or control other countries, hence obtain resources in order to afford and maintain these high standard of living. So China, for instance, maintains high standard of living by producing more. They have recently embarked on using other tactics like issuing loans to developing countries. So taking a loan is like borrowing from your future self. It ties you with the liability to pay it back and still meet your needs. So the latest data shows that the GDP of Kenya was like $2,099 per capita, and China's GDP was $12,720 per capita. United States controls the world economy and has a 76,329 per capita. Japan, on the other hand, has 33,823. So with a properly balanced budget, Kenya can almost sustain its economy without having to borrow, and this will make repayment of these loans less painful. And that was why Kibaki used to say lipa ushuru ujitegemee. So recently, Boeing, an American aerospace company, selected Ethiopia for their headquarters in Africa, and this is where they are going to build a maintenance facility. Ethiopian Airlines have more destination hubs in the world, thus need more planes, and as a result, they are the Boeing's largest customers in Africa. So the caveat is Ethiopian birr, that is Ethiopian currency, has a higher value than the Kenyan shilling. Thus, the operation cost of Boeing in Ethiopia might be higher than it would be in Kenya. But then again, Ethiopia is more stable politically. So Kenya collected around $113 billion in total revenue the last fiscal year, and Tesla, an American electric car company, made like 90 billion in gross revenue. So inviting Tesla CEO for a tour to Kenya might have Tesla consider opening an assembly farm in Kenya, because we know they will eventually decide to expand to Africa. So you just promised that guy a live interview in the national television. We know he likes fame and publicity. Thus, Kenyan government can use that as a tool to get his attention. If he picks Kenya to be the first country in Africa to have Tesla manufacturing factory, that will provide a lot of jobs. And this can be achieved by offering tax-free business operation for like 10 years and on condition that most of its workforce will be sourced locally, then get a written promise for a low tax rate after the grace period. So the company will then use the money saved from the taxes to train the Kenyan workforce, hence investing in Kenyans. So Tesla should also be granted freedom to operate within no or minimal government or political interference in order to make it irresistible for him to consider Kenya when the time comes. So in order to place Kenya in Tesla's radar, the Kenyan government should consider starting to fund science research aiming to find out if there is lithium metal or cobalt metal deposits which is abundant in Congo. So did you know that the uranium that was used to make the first atomic bomb was mined from Congo? Now you know why there is always war in Congo. So Tesla is a variable company in the New York Stock Exchange, and you might be surprised that Kenyan companies will soon be able to list their stock in the New York Stock Exchange, hence bringing untold wealth to the country. Tesla is famous and respected, thus other companies will consider opening manufacturing industries in Kenya as they capitalize on the soaring fame of Kenya. So in conclusion, as you ponder on picking your next leader, look at the leader's vision and appoint leaders with the interest of Kenya and the Kenyans at heart.